Okay, these directions are going to help you complete ACC 5 and 6 for computer design class. So let's go ahead and get this started. The first thing we need to do is do a file new. So at the top of my screen, right next to the house up here, I'm going to go to the little piece of paper, left click, and it should open up a new SOLIDWORKS document pop-up screen. And we should make sure that we're highlighting here SOLIDWORKS templates. If for some reason you are at this point where it's showing in this format, the novice mode, we need to go over down here to the left-hand button, click Advanced to get back to where you should see several tabs at the top here. Please pick the one that says SOLIDWORKS Templates. Now, 5 and 6 are going to be on what's called a B border. That's 11 by 17. These are in inches, so we're going to use what's called a GHSB, which is the one right here in the middle of the third row. Okay, GHSB, it's in inches. The one next to it is metric. I see the preview here to the right, which indicates the border's there. And so what I'm going to do right now is hit OK. Now, SOLIDWORKS right now is thinking, hey, you got a part you've created, you want to put a drawing together. Now, we have not created parts yet. We're just drawing on these borders so we can just get some practice with our tools. So the first thing I want you to do is go over here to your management bar to the left for model view, and I want you to hit the red X. And then the center of the paper up on our screen, I want you to hit your F key. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to draw two problems. 5 will be over here to the left. 6 will be over here to the right. Okay, and we're going to start by drawing number 5 using our line tool. So I'm going to go here to my sketch toolbar. Right up here, you see a sketch tab. And again, we're going to go back and practice with our line tool here. So I'm going to left click on the line tool, and I'm going to come out here to the right. And on this left-hand piece of paper, approximately eyeball in the middle, I'm going to start drawing a box. So I'm going to left click and I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Now, how do I know it's horizontal? I can see the pencil there. Right to the back of it is a yellow box with a black line. That is an indication that this line is currently horizontal. As soon as I see that, left click. I'm going to repeat this going up. So as I pull up, I want to see a yellow box at the back of the pencil with a black line. That indicates vertical. I see that. I'm going to left click, pull back across. And as you can see, SOLIDWORKS is starting to think for me. Okay, it's starting to give me guidelines, thinking, okay, you want to go horizontal again. And then it's thinking, okay, you want to create a box. So go here and follow this blue line. As soon as I see that, I'm going to left click and then pull straight back down to my starting point. Left click again. Now, if you look at the cursor, you should see a pencil. That indicates that the tool is still active. To turn it off, I need you to hit your escape key. Okay. Now, we're going to dimension this to its correct size. So I'm going to go here and turn on my Smart Dimension tool up here at the left. And the first thing I want to do, and I'm going to kind of blow up on the left side of the screen, is I want you to hit this bottom line. When it turns orange, now don't get caught in that midpoint, but when this line turns orange, left click on it. Now, this is an active tool now. Okay, I'm going to pull below the line and left click a second time. And what you're going to get is a modify or a dialog box asking the number you want to put in. At this point, we're going to put in 4.180. Enter. Now, my tool is still active, and I can tell because right behind the cursor is the dimension symbol. So I'm going to go ahead with it still active. I'm going to come over here to the right and hit this line. When it turns orange, left click, pull to your right, left click again. Type in 4.180 and hit your check mark. Now, I don't need a dimension anymore. What I'm going to do at this point is hit escape. And now we're going to go into a tool we used in problems 1 through 4. Okay, so this is again repetition using the tool offset entities. So remember, offset entities allows us to copy a line specific distances or circle specific distances. So when I turn this on, the specific distance I want to copy is going to be 0.38. Right now, the default is at 0.1. So I'm going to highlight that and type in 0.38, enter. I'm going to take the dimensions off because I don't want to have a dimension every single time I click on a line because I'm going to have to eventually come back and delete them off. All right, I'm going to click on this line. Now, what happened here is the whole box got selected. I don't want the whole box. I only want this line to be copied multiple times. The reason this came on is because this box over here where it says select chain has been clicked on. What that means is any line touching this original line will also be included in the offset. So to turn that off, I just uncheck the select chain line. Now I'm also going the wrong direction. I need to reverse inside the box. So I hit the reverse button right here, okay? And then I hit my green check mark. Now, I need to repeat this over and over and over. So it's really, I got to turn my offset tool back on again. So I got to turn it on. But I don't want to have to keep opening my offset tool every single time I want to click a line. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to pin this line down by hitting this little push pin over here in the management bar. That will keep it down. Now, if I click on this next line, I notice again it's going the wrong way. So come back to your left, to the management bar, hit reverse. Now just hit your green check mark, go to the next line, check mark, this line, check mark. You can do this all the way across. I believe there's 11 of them in total. And one more here. Now, I'm going to do the same thing going from top to bottom. I'm going to make a giant checker box here when I'm done. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to show you an even faster way. I'm going to click below, click the line, click below, click the line, click below. So this is actually saving me mouse movements, higher efficiency. Click the line, click below, click the line, click below, click the line, and click below. Now you'll notice the tool is still active over here until I turn it off. So at this point, I'll hit my green check mark and deactivate the tool. Now, before I go any further on this, I want to go ahead and do a quick file save as. So up here at the top of your bar, I'm going to come up to the save button, or that looks like a disk, I guess. Go here and say save as. I want you to save this as ACC 5, and then the symbol and 6, underscore your last name. If you want to add the period, you can. Hit save. Okay, now we have this large checker box. If you're looking at the answer key, you're probably wondering, how do we get this to look like the answer key? All this is going to be is a repetition of trimming. So I'm going to go to my trim tool, and I'm going to do a trim to closest. Now, using this trim to closest allows me to step back one at a time. Now, if you think you're good enough for the mouse, you could try power trim. My preference, though, is to go slow and accurately. So I'm going to use my trim to closest in case I make a mistake. I can Control Z back. I'm going to start in this upper left-hand corner and begin working the model the way I see it in the answer key. So I'm going to begin trimming off these pieces. And if you need to pause and rewind this as I do it, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so that takes care of that first corner. I'm going to work this middle part now. And then here, oops, I already realized I made a mistake, so I'm going to Control Z back and trim one thing too many right there. So I got to come back and do this again. And you may find yourself doing this quite a bit. Not a big deal. I'm going to come back because I realize I got to do this and here, here and here, and then I need those two lines to go away. And I had already deleted that, so I brought it back. Now, if push comes to shove and you're too far ahead, you could always just turn your line tool on and connect from here to here. That is your alternative. I'm going to continue on with my cuts, working my way in here, slowly but surely. It's going to take some time, so just watch patiently and follow along. Okay, so the upper area is done. Kind of slide up a little bit. I'm going to work on this middle section. Starting here, I got these, and here and here. And then I need to get rid of this and this, here and here. Okay, that looks okay. I'm going to come to the other side and do the same thing. Here, here, and here. Okay, and then that leaves me this middle section. Again, you can see it's nothing more than an optical illusion is all this is. It's just an illusion. And here, and then working this, that goes there. Okay, so now my middle section is done. Working to the bottom. Okay, that corner's done. I think I'm gonna come over here and do this corner. And done. And that leaves me just this last little middle section. So again, being patient, just looking back and forth between my answer key and here. And at this point, my trimming is now done. So I can deactivate the tool with an escape. And then I got to throw on a couple dimensions here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of keep this nice and blown up for you. I'm going to go get my Smart Dimension tool on, and I need to add a dimension from this left vertical line here to this inside vertical line, short one here. I'm going to pull down and then slide to my right, left click. We already want to keep it at 0.38, so just hit your green check mark. But I do need to add a TYP, meaning typical, over here behind the 0.38. So I'm going to go over here to where it says dimension text in my management toolbar, and I'm going to put my cursor right behind this little caret, behind the word DIM. I'm going to hit my space bar, and with my caps lock on, I'm going to type in the following, TYP. And what that's saying is that all the spacing between all lines is 0.38. Okay, as soon as I see that's on there, hit your check mark. I'll bring these in a little bit tighter. That looks pretty good. And now what I'm going to do is add in that note down below. So what I'm going to do is go to my annotation toolbar. And that means I have to go up here by the sketch toolbar tab, go over to my left, there's annotation, left click. When you get there, you're going to see the note tool. Okay, and the note tool allows us to draw or write things all over our paper if we need to. At this point, I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to come out right below this 4.18, and I'm going to drop or left click to create a text box. And what you're going to see is a formatting toolbar pop up above it. Now, our titles are always going to be the same. They're always going to be in Arial. They're going to be a font size of 12. They're going to be bold. They're going to be underlined, and they're going to be centered. Now, with my caps lock on, I'm going to type the following. Problem, space, shift, the number 3, 5. As soon as you're done with that, come over to your left and hit the green check mark. Now, if you need to move this, just left click and hold and drag it where you need to and let go. Hit your F key and there you go. Your first problem is done. Now, if yours is not perfectly centered, don't worry about it. If it's a little bit lower or higher than mine, leave it as it is. Do not move anything or you're going to have all kinds of problems occur. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and hit save, okay, so that we don't lose that piece of work. So now what I want to do is I want to focus on the right-hand side of the paper, and I want to draw problem number 6. Now, problem number 6 is going to use the polygon tool. The polygon tool is under the sketch toolbar, so back up to my top, hit the sketch tab, and the polygon tool is in the bottom row of the sketch tools, okay? If you click on that, the default for the parameters for the polygon tool is a 6-sided figure. But we're going to start with a triangle first. So we're going to change that from 6 to 3. I don't care about the inscribed or circumscribed. There will be times when that will be needed. But right now, it doesn't matter either way because I'm going to delete the circle off when I'm done anyways. Now, with that identified, I'm just going to come out here in the open space and approximately right in the middle of this open space, I'm going to left click and pull straight up. And the way I know I'm straight is I should see at the back of the pencil there, I see a white box with a black line. That indicates vertical. I'm going to continue pulling up while it's vertical. And as soon as I get as high as I want, I'm going to left click and hit escape to turn off my polygon tool. Now, I'm going to go ahead and smart dimension this bottom line. I'm going to drop this down and we're going to dimension this to 5.25. And this is an equilateral triangle, so all 3 sides will change to the exact same as soon as I hit enter. Enter. Now I'm going to hit escape to turn on my sketch tool. Now, if you want to drag this around, you can. You can grab the center of the circle and you can readjust this. I'm going to actually bring mine down, kind of eyeball it to where it's level with number 5 and let go. At this point, you are good to go ahead and highlight that blue circle and then hit your delete key. The backspace key will not work. It must be your delete key. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 more triangles. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, okay, back to my polygon tool. I'm going to draw 3 of these. I'm going to draw one towards the top. So I'm going to left click somewhere up here and pull a small triangle that is a vertical line straight up. Left click. And then I'm going to come down while I'm still active. I'm going to draw a couple of these below. So I'm going to draw a small one here, left click, and another one over here. Okay. Left click. Now what I'm going to do here is I am going to dimension this one here to 2.5. I'm going to dimension this one here to 2.5. And then I'm going to use my control key, push it down, and I'm going to hit this bottom line of one of these 2 triangles. It could be either one. Hold that control key down and click one line. Then I want you to come to the bottom line of the triangle you drew up at top. Left click, and I want you to make them equal. That's over here where it's a relationship of equals. Okay, so now all 3 triangles are exactly the same. Now what I'm going to do here is I am going to quickly go ahead and just drag this left-hand corner. So I'm going to go here to this left-hand corner. I see the dot. I'm going to left click and hold, and I'm going to drag this corner to this exact spot right there at this corner. Okay, so now this triangle is perfectly sitting on that corner. I'm going to go to this bottom triangle, and I'm going to hit the right side lowest corner, left click and hold, and I'm going to drag it right up to this corner and let go. I'm going to come to the top triangle and grab the top vertex, left click and hold, and drag it, holding my left mouse button down, and let go when it hits that tip. Hit my F key, and I'll kind of blow back up on the side. Now at this point, I'm going to highlight each circle and hit my delete key. Left click on it and delete. Now what I want to do is I want to copy another triangle inside of these 3 triangles. So I'm going to use my offset tool to make that happen. So I'm going up to the top of my sketch bar, turn on my offset entities, but instead of 0.38 like the other one, we're going to do 0.25 and hit enter. I want select chain on because when I click on one of these lines, I want all 3 of these lines to show. Okay, if I don't, it will only pick one line. So I want to make sure select chain is on. And then I also need to reverse my direction. And what I'm going to do is while this is open, I'm going to click the inside of each of these lines like so to create an offset triangle inside of each of these triangles. Now, as soon as you see those 3 smaller triangles, come over to your left and hit your green check mark. Now, to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick save. I can either hit the save bar up here or Control S is your shortcut. Okay, now I need to offset this outside big triangle. I need to offset it a 1/2 inch inside because I need another triangle in here. Okay, so I'm going to offset this one 0.5 inside. So I'm going to go to my offset entities, change this from 0.25 to 0.5. Click on this outside edge of my triangle, and I may have to do all 3, reverse the direction, and then actually on this one, what's interesting is you may have to take the select chain off. Okay, so you may have to play with this button by left clicking on it to see if it works. In my case, I had to reverse it and take select chain off to get this triangle to show correctly. As soon as you see this triangle, go ahead and hit your green check mark. Now, I want to take this triangle I just created here and I want to offset it one more time, 0.25. So I'm going to go to my offset entities, left click, keep it at 0.25, enter. I'm going to pick on this triangle and hit my select chain to see if that works, and it does. but I need to reverse it to the inside. As soon as I see that yellow triangle showing, green check mark. Now, I'm almost done. What I'm going to do now at this point is I'm going to highlight, hit my escape from that tool. I'm going to highlight each outside edge of the big triangle and delete them off. Left click and delete. Make sure you're kind of hitting where these gaps are. Otherwise, you may end up deleting part of your small triangles. So now what I've got is almost a finished product. The last thing I need to do here is I need to do some trimming. Okay, again, this is like the part number 5 in this case, which is kind of an optical illusion where these things are overlapping and underlapping each other. Okay, so adjusting a couple of those things, I'm going to turn on my smart dimension. Now again, you could use a power trim. My preference is trim to closest in case I make a mistake. Then I can Control Z back to that mistake versus having to start the whole thing over. So with my trim to closest, I'm going to go ahead and start looking at my answer key that I provided for you and start trimming off the pieces I need to get rid of. Okay, so now if you look, say yes, you can see it's just an optical illusion to make this triangle look like it's stuck inside this triangle. Come down to here, lower left triangle, get rid of the 2 lines here and here. And on this one, get rid of these 2 angled lines here and here. Move to my right, get the same here. Here and here. And at that point, my trimming is all done, so I can deactivate the tool. Now again, I don't want to lose anything, so I'm going to do a quick Control S key to save. Now we have 3 things left to add. We have 2 dimensions and a title. And then we'll get to our answer, or our title block, print and submit this in. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my smart dimension. Now I need to have a dimension up here between these 2 lines. Okay, and the only way I can get that to work is by clicking physically on the lines. So I'm going to go here to this orange, left click, go to this orange, left click, and pull out. Hit your check mark, but I need to add a TYP out here behind the 0.25. So over here where it says dimension text, drop your cursor inside, right behind the caret there, space TYP. Check mark. We're going to do that procedure one more time, but we're going to do it down here between this line here and this line here. So turn on your smart dimension, click on that line right here, click on this line over here, and pull out and towards your right. Left click, check mark, cursor in the white box, type in TYP. Hit your green check mark, and we are now done with all of our dimensions here. So my final step is to add a title below the 5.25. So I'm going to go to my annotation toolbar, which is right to the left of my sketch toolbar, hit the word note, come down below the 5.25, and I'll blow up so you can see it, left click, and then format our title. Font size 12, bold, underline, centered. And then with that, type in with the caps lock on, problem, shift 3, 6. As soon as you have that, hit your green check mark, drag your title to where you need it so it looks nice and clean underneath. At this point, I'm going to do a quick Control save, and then I'm now going to go over and highlight the title block. Okay, so now looking over here, we need to change our title. So instead of place the title here, we actually need to put a title in there. So double click with caps lock on. We're going to type in ACC problems 5 space and 6. Click outside. Just my title. Scale will remain at 1:1. Where it says drawn by, you're going to double click and put your first initial of your first name and your last name. Click outside, left click and drag wherever you want to middle up or center up your name. Today's date, 9/21/19. Period, whatever your period is. Check by. you are going to put in the following: Mr. Combs. That is who's grading your paper, so it's going to be me. Okay, and at that point, your title block is done, so hit your F key, hit a Control S to save. The last step of this is to print. So at the top, I want you to hit your little print button. Looks like a printer right here. Left click on it. Okay, make sure you are in the correct printing lab. In this case, I need to drop this to L108TE lab. Go and check your page setup. Again, I want to make sure this is being printed on 11 by 17, not a letter size sheet. So go to page setup. It should say B border here. It should be at 100% scale. That's the big ones. This should be at the scale of 100%. Paper size should be 11 by 17. If it shows letter, you're going to have to drop it down and find the 11 by 17. As soon as you've got that, hit OK, and then hit OK one more time to print it. Okay, I'm going to do this the backup for a save. So Control S one more time. And at that point, you are done. You can take your paper from the printer, fold it in half neatly, place it in the gray collection box. At this point, you can now continue on through problems 7 through 13. There is a video for that, plus directions. Use this video to your advantage. Play it as fast as you need or as slow as you need. Pause and rewind as necessary. Of course, you may ask questions if you need help. Otherwise, good luck.